Hey, what is going on, everyone? Guys, gals, aliens, and degenerate crypto enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. Happy Ethereum birthday. Happy 10th birthday to Ethereum. Let's go. We're going to talk about that. We're going to celebrate it. We're going to celebrate Ethereum. On this channel, we have pretty much been perma-bullish on Ethereum for very specific reasons, my friends. And the reason being is that we, out of all of our research and the things that we've been, finding out about these cryptocurrency ecosystems and what it means to be in altcoins and what an altcoin season is and what determines an altcoin season, and it's all based on Ethereum. And so we have to give credit where credit is due. And we have to explain a little bit about why the institutions are coming for Ethereum and why we should have been paying attention to Ethereum this entire time. But, my friends, let's do all of the housekeeping. Let's hit that like button. Let's hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, we do these live streams Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we've been having a blast. We've been on like a 90-plus week live stream streak, and we are going to continue this live stream streak and keep it going strong. And we want to give a shout out to all of the people that have been watching over the past couple weeks, past couple months, however long you've been watching. We really appreciate it. And we want to make sure that the algorithm will actually work. But you gotta hit the damn like button. That's what happens. It's the only way it's gonna work. It's the only way it's gonna work, my friends, is you hit the like button. Because YouTube has been smashing all of these crypto channels in terms of metrics, trying to put us out there. I don't know if they just don't want people to learn about crypto. They don't want people to be free or sovereign or learn about this thing that all the governments and the politicians and the legislative branch is all the rage. So why isn't that they are pushing the cryptocurrency content for the every person, for the everyman, the every woman, the normie, whatever you want to call them, the retail? I don't know. That's a mystery. We're going to find out. We're going to figure this out together, my friends. But welcome. We've been having some fun. We've been still having a blast. The algorithm, at least on X, has been a little bit better. It's been pushing a little bit stronger. So we really appreciate all of you guys that have been tuning in. And so today is a very, very interesting day, very volatile day that we could be experiencing, because in just 2 hours, we are going to have the FOMC meeting, the Federal Reserve is going to be having this meeting, which we've been waiting for, and there's been a lot of pressure from the Trump administration for the Federal Reserve to cut these rates, because they have been very, very slow to cut rates at all, whilst other central banks in different parts of the world have been cutting rates aggressively, and we have just been lagging behind. And so the Trump administration has been pressuring Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve to cut the rates. And so there are 3 meetings left. Okay, there's 3 meetings left for the rest of the year. So we have the 17th, we have the of September, we have the 29th of October, and then December 10th. Now, what's interesting is that with our price targets and our price calls for altcoin season and for Bitcoin to cross over 150,000, it's actually timed right around this meeting, this October meeting. And so it's speculated that by October, we should be cut at least 25 basis points. It's more so on the percentage side for the market, predicting that we are going to have that cut for the next meeting. But then that is just basically giving us another month and a half of 2 months of higher interest rates, which the Trump administration is not happy about. They want to quickly as possible get the rates down so they can continue the Trump plan, which the Trump plan is to basically refinance, the debt in a way that is basically raising the debt ceiling, implementing more liquidity through the modality of the minting of the stable coins. That's why the Genius Act has gone through. That's why all these different legislative things with crypto have been pushed through. And finally, now that we have we have the big beautiful bill that went through, which basically raised the debt ceiling and made it to where there's just going to be more business in America. And also with the tax cuts, there's tax cut provisions. There's a lot in this bill that I can't even begin to explain because there's a lot of it that I still don't understand. I just know bullet points of it. So I'm sure if you were to go through the whole damn thing, there's a lot in there that has I'm sure it gets a little complicated. But just to make it super simple, the big beautiful bill made it to where we can just borrow more money, we can print more money, we can do it at a cheaper rate, and we're trying to keep innovation and the economy strong here in America, and to be able to do trade deals and have it be beneficial for both parties. So, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the deals. As to where in the past 4 years or 8 years of a Democratic-run administration, we were making deals that only was in benefit of the parties that were making the deals, not for the American people, not for, small business owners. Really, all the deals that were made were outsourcing, basically outsourcing the services and the things that the American people can offer were being outsourced, and everyone was getting basically undercut. And you do that long enough while printing more money, while sending all the money to other places like, Ukraine and Israel and wherever else are around the world. I mean, we basically got a long laundry list of billions and billions of dollars that were sent, and combine that with a crumbling middle class, and then the debt being harder to service, and then also for retail, the interest rates being super high, everything's going up in price. This is why we're in this situation that we're in right now. So what we're having to do is basically the Trump administration is like, look, we're not going to be able to pay off all the debt, so let's just raise the debt ceiling, continue to invest, buy Bitcoin, and then in the next 10 years, we'll probably be able to pay off the debt. Not now. So how do we do it? Well, we got to get more liquidity in, and the money supply is increasing. The interest rates have to go down. They will go down. They'll be pressured even harder going into the rest of the year, and we're going to see how this shakes out. This is the macro here. This is the micro that is influencing what eventually will be the macro of our economics here. So they're still playing the same games. But it's in a different modality. Like now everything is going to be on chain. We're having liquidity come in with the stables. We have better regulatory clarity with the stable coins. So then now we can see like which companies, which chains are going to be used, and guess which chain is going to be used probably more than all of them. When you were convinced this whole time that the institutions weren't going to use Ethereum because it was slow and old dead technology and there's better chains and better solutions, you got gas lit. You got yo booty gas lit, because now we see that this entire time, what I've been talking about, where the institutions are just going to go to the next best thing that they can understand, and that there's more trust, there's more verified trust in the chain, and longevity, a history, a maturity. We're at 10 years of Ethereum. Okay? Happy birthday, Ethereum. 10 years of growth, trust, verifiable, decentralized nature of Ethereum. Deflationary. It's successfully going through its roadmap. It's scaling. It's fixing issues. It's had its problems, but it's figuring out solutions. And we're going to get into why the institutions are going to even pick it to begin with. That's why. But then it could be as simple as Ethereum is the smart contract platform for the world. And so it's the world's computer. And the institutions are seeing this, and they're understanding that they could generate yield. You guys do not understand the nature of how these big institutions and this big money is going to generate yield. They don't have to trade. They don't have to move stuff around all the time. They can park a lot of money into a simple protocol or a staking mechanism or modality through an ETH ETF that will eventually be able to be staked. It's just a matter of time that these ETFs will have a staking mechanism, because that's what ETH, when the whole thing of ETH going from proof of work to proof of stake is to be able to generate deflationary yield and a mechanism for frictionless money that can just do whatever you want it to and build on it. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And because the developer support is so strong with Ethereum, it's going to be like the level of how Microsoft took over all of the different applications and dev support, developer support for all these businesses that operate with medical stuff, with financial records, office records. Just think about it. Like most businesses run on a Microsoft-based platform and applications. And then when you start to get into the more niche stuff, media and all that, that's when it gets into the Apples and all that stuff. And that's your Solanas, that's your Sui, that's that. It's still in the markets, it's still being used, but it's not in the level of what you think of what Microsoft has been able to do. Just dominated that sector for years and years and years. And yes, it's older, but guess what? There's so much more developer support on Microsoft because of just the ecosystem. So that's what you have to think about. So then you go into the layer twos and how Ethereum is actually being friendly to the layer twos and say, hey, of course, please build a layer two and we will support you. And Ethereum will continue to be strong as the base mainnet layer to be able to be the settlement layer and throughput for the layer twos, or if you want to build an application. So in my mind, of how I break it down, I'm not regurgitating, what I'm hearing. This is what I am collecting in my brain of what I am doing as my own perception of why Ethereum should be paid attention to. I'm not regurgitating this from someone else. This is my own thesis. This is my own assumptions. Now, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to agree. You just need to come to your own conclusions, do your own research. Now, from why I'm getting to this point is because I've watched these ETF inflows for Bitcoin for a long time now. For the past year and a half, I've been watching these ETF inflows and then saw how the nature of Ethereum started to roll out for the ETF, and then how there was no action, and it was the same with Bitcoin. It was just kind of slim. And then all of a sudden, we started to get on the daily 400 million, 300 million, sometimes $1 billion in one day of inflows into these ETFs. And so this is how Bitcoin was even able to get to its all-time highs with the modality of the ETF. And we went up from here, and I think the ETF, it started trading around the time of my birthday on 2024. It went up 85%. It went up 85% in 63 days after the fact of that momentum, because you started seeing that inflow in the millions into almost the billions in a day, just in a day. So that's a lot of volume. That is institutional grade level volume, and it's not retail doing this. It's not retail doing this. This is institutions. So I think retail will eventually come in, but it's not gonna be what you think. I think the euphoria is gonna be a little bit different, because retail got scared really bad. Retail's social risk for getting into crypto or investing got chopped at the knees. We've explained that, it hasn't been an easy road for a lot of people. The majority of people have had to play a lot of catch up. A lot of things have gone up. Their expenses have gone up. The normal family out here, expenses over the past 3 years have gone up double or triple. If you are looking at your stuff, you're like, wow, I'm spending like an extra $500 on groceries in the month. And then your car insurance, if you didn't watch it or tried to renew or something, your car insurance went up. Everything's going up. Your rent is going up. My lease, that if I sign it, they're increasing it $150. So, and this is just, everything is just going to continue to increase. And and the rent prices around in my area and in other areas that I've looked at have went from, if it was $1,600 3 years ago, it's now $2,000 or more. That same place. So everything has gone up. Everyone's expenses have gone up. So what do you think retail is thinking about? They're trying to think about the next paycheck so they can pay their bills. They're not thinking about building up a nest egg and trying to start having an investment plan. Very small portion of people are thinking like this, but that portion of people are very smart because they're front running they're front running the world right now, because most people are not in that type of mindset. They're more in a type of survival mindset where they're like, I just got to make sure I can just pay what I have, So this is the reality. Now, some people they get uncomfortable when you talk about this stuff, but this is so important. I can't begin to express how important it is for you to start getting less uncomfortable about talking about your money, your finances, your situation. Don't be embarrassed. There's no shame in this, okay? Like, people make mistakes, and if you don't fix your financial mistakes, this is the kind of shit that will actually make you depressed, stuck, feel like you're a failure, all this stuff, if you don't talk about it. So don't get yourself in these situations where it's this like weird social thing. Oh, I can't talk about how much I make or what my debt is. It's like, bro, you better start talking about it. You better start talking about it with your wife, your partner, whoever it is, and figure your shit out, because this is the time right now. You got to figure it out. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, my friends. Let's open the curtain. Let's pull the veil back, because we need something to encourage us to get on this trajectory, get on this plan. Have a plan. What are you going to be able to have paid off in the next 5 years if you have debt? Do you have a debt plan to pay this stuff off? And then how much will you have in the end of the month to then say, okay, I just paid all this stuff. I chucked some money at this credit card. Okay, I got this stupid small loan. Okay, that's going to be paid off in this. So you know exactly when things will be paid off. When was the last time you even did that? When was the last time you had a trajectory in a time frame of when you were going to successfully pay something off? And then know that you'll have then that extra money to be able to then put in investments, because you have to compound invest or you're not going to make it, because the dollar is literally getting destroyed, and precious metals and stocks and commodities, Bitcoin is going up, and the big money knows this. They know the dollar's freaking worthless at this point, and it's going to continue to get printed. And so what does the rich do with that money? Because they know it's worthless. They invest it. They put it into stuff that appreciates over time, like dividend stocks, index funds, the gold. Now in our generation, and now the big money already is caught on now. We had the opportunity to front run the institutions, but now we're like, no. But it's okay, because guess what? They're the ones that have the liquidity. So great. I'm glad they're in, because they're going to pump our bags. We just need to be in it. We just need to be in the game. Be in the game. So what do you have to do? You have to figure out what your plan is. You have to figure out what your plan is. That's all. And so my whole perception about how you're supposed to, raise your family, do your finances, do all this stuff, like all these things that you're told that you're supposed to do. Go get a car, get a car payment. You need that certain type of car because of this and that, or you need this type of house because this. No, you need to buy a house because value is just going to continue to go up, so you better buy. False. Everything that the market and all this stuff in the system that is based off trapping you to do these things, because the system needs you for that. This is what I am trying to reprogram out of my brain, because it is a program. It's a program that they run and install in your brain, and then they use like ads. These people like tabs that pop up, which are people and their views, and they convince you and they make you feel like you're poor or something because you drive a Honda Civic or you rent. And then they're driving a Jeep and they're in their big house with all their shit around them, and they look rich. Guess what? For all you know, the dude in the Civic in a 1-bedroom apartment has 17 Bitcoin and has way more money than the bloke that's paying $1,000 a month for that Jeep and has the big house and has all of that shit around him and has to keep up with that all the time. Oh, guess what? Hours get cut at work. Job, something happens. Some stupid thing that you can't predict and plan because it was just you couldn't plan for it. Now guess what? Now you got all these stupid expenses. You got all this stuff that you have to keep up with. Guess who's now more rich? Guess who has now more time and freedom? Guess who isn't as trapped? Dude with the Honda Civic in a studio apartment. Less expenses, less crap around that makes you feel better about yourself, makes you feel good. Oh, you feel better? You know what makes you feel better? Having time with your family, having time with your kids, having time, freedom. That is what you're purchasing. That's the purchase. That's what that is. Everything else is smoke. And it's true, Sucky. We've said this on the channel too. AI is going to take a lot of jobs. It also is going to create a lot of jobs as well. That's the thing. Like, it'll take jobs, but then people who are really good with AI and are like super prompters and know how to build things using AI models, because AI itself needs us to do it. An agent can only go so far. It's the person that's doing it that eventually, like, that's what it'll do. I don't think we're there yet to the point of like AI fully, without it being prompted, to do stuff that we want it to do. It's not there just yet, but it will be. But if you're smart, you'll just get really good at using AI, and a company will hire you to be their AI expert. So then there's your job. So if you're a person right now that's like, I got a master's degree and I got all this, I went to school for 10 years and I'm a smarty pants, and for some reason I can't get hired. Well, guess what? You're going to have to learn some new skills, and you're going to be able to you need to figure out what the hell to do, because guess what? No one cares if you went to school for 10 years. That's not no one's looking for someone who's good at going to school. That's not what people are looking for. They're looking for innovators. They're looking for people who want to take risks. They're looking for people who create stuff, who are willing to go outside the box. They're not looking for Mr. Smarty Pants. They're not looking for, I went to school for this, I went to school for that. No one cares. It's not that kind of economy anymore. That used to be the thing, where it was like you could show them the piece of paper. I went to school. I paid the blah, blah, blah. This should be the thing that gives me the job, right? No, Because guess what? The biggest billionaires in the world don't have a degree. They dropped out of college. They went and mentored with someone. And guess who that mentor was? Someone who was rich and was investing and taught them to invest and make stuff. Don't tell you that in school. They go to school, go to college, pay the debt, go into debt. All the while, Daddy Warbucks over there was investing in crude oil. This needs to be talked about more. And it needs to be out in the open. Right? This is what's so fascinating about crypto. Because crypto is the catalyst and the thing that finally can crack your head open to all of this stuff. When you start to realize that when you can move your money from a chain to a chain, do a thing, do this, do that, blah, 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 but I mean, do all this stuff, it starts to make you think, wow, I can do this with the rest of my, I can do this with the rest of my life. I can make my life frictionless and have less friction in my life when I start to break all this stuff down. And crypto finally does it. It does it for you. It's doing it for me. It's cracking everything open. Where you had been programmed to believe all this stupid crap that the system is very, very good and cunning at doing through programming, social programming, propaganda, all this crap. It's very good at doing it. And your ultimate mission is to break your, and when you call breaking out of the matrix, it's not like a fad. You know, I get when some people, the Matrix, or when, like, you know, Andrew Tate talks about the Matrix, like, he's just trying to sell you a freaking course. What I'm talking about is breaking out of the Matrix. It's finally actually knowing that you don't need Andrew Tate in a freaking course of a bunch of those guys to break you out of the Matrix. You are the one. That's it. It's just you. It's you. It's you. No one's coming to save you besides yourself. That's it. No one's coming to save you. It is you. It's PvP. It's UVU. It's not player versus player. It is you versus you. It's you versus the anti-you. And it's always been like that. You know who I've been the most angry at? Myself. You know who I've been the most disappointed with? Not someone outside. Not a person. It's me. So then who do you have to reckon with? You gotta reckon with yourself. You gotta reckon with yourself. All right. That's my rant for the morning, my friends. That's my rant for the morning. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm taking questions right now. I'll take questions. We have too much fun. We have too much fun on these rants, though, my friends. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of the live stream, because we're going to be talking about Ethereum. We're going to be talking about Pulse Chain. We're going to be talking about the ticker Bitcoin. We are going to be talking about how we could potentially have some crazy surprise rate cut today. Who knows? Jerome Powell might come out and say, you know what? Okay, all right, fine, Trump. We'll cut it 25 basis points, and then the market's going to freak out. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? We're gonna show you our Pulse Chain bag. The Pulse Chain bag is a very slim little baby bag of Pulse Chain stuff, but we just want to show you that we do have skin in the game in Pulse Chain, and that we are going to be anteing up on getting more Pulse, which is the actual token, and the gas, and the token that is actually paired with liquidity with a lot of these with a lot of these tokens in the ecosystem, like Hex, like PHEX. PHEX is paired with PLS. PLSX is paired with Pulse, which is PLSX is the swap in the main DEX and liquidity provider for the Pulse chain ecosystem, the main one. Then we have the incentive token, which is one of the tokens that was, I mean, if you just kind of simple, it's an incentive. It's the incentive token that you can get rewarded for providing liquidity on the platform, in the ecosystem, in the chain. And then you got this sneaky little PDAI. You know, there's a whole narrative about PDAI that I won't even begin to go into. I'll let you go down that rabbit hole yourself. And also, I'll just direct you to see, and I'm nice. See, I'm not going to like act like I know everything that I'm talking about, or I know everything. Go to Sami. Your friend Sami does a really, really great explanation about PDAI, and he's kind of like the champion community leader for PDAI. So, but yeah, so go check out Sami, and then you can go down that rabbit hole. I'll end up messing up the timeline of what the PDAI thing is. Basically, long story short, if you remember that you could bridge things and bridge coins over to Pulse Chain, like you could bridge like, you know, an ePepe or eChainlink or whatever it is. And then also there was these P versions. So then you'd have like a PUSD or whatever, and then people were bridging over these stables. PDAI was one of these. And it ended up where there's this whole kind of narrative being built around it that PDAI would eventually peg into $1. So I'll just leave it at that, and then you can decide if you want to test into this, because this is kind of like a meme coin. You know, it's like it's a stable meme coin. So if you guys remember, it's kind of very similar as like when other stable coins have depegged or there's been some type of speculation. And remember when Terra, you know, UST, whenever that started to depeg, and then and then people were trying to buy up the UST, thinking that there's a potential that it could raise up and try and depeg again. It never really happened, but this could be similar type of scenario where it's like, okay, you got this PDAI, potentially could, even if it doesn't peg to $1. I mean, if it gets to even where it was, let's see. Yeah, even if it gets to like where it was before, or even at like a 1 billion market cap, and then the price, whenever it was at that point, was at 3 cents. Currently, it's at 0.005. And if you're looking at this, let's full screen it. Can I full screen it? Yeah, I want to get some measurements. And guys, I'm telling you, like I think that Pulse Chain as an ecosystem, when Ethereum breaks all-time high, it's going to be crazy, because here's Richard Hart's whole thesis. He's like, look, Ethereum will break all-time high and go to price discovery. Where are people going to then go once it starts to get overheated, like the similar thing with Bitcoin? It's like, okay, Bitcoin gets market share, and then where does it go? It goes to Ethereum. And then once market share on Ethereum starts to hit that point, and then we go, and then it's the buckets of water, like we talk about, where's it going to go? I think Pulse Chain could be one of those magic bridges, you know, that this ecosystem could start seeing some traction. And Richard Hart is on this massive advertising campaign that he has been promoting, has been talking about, cryptically talking about, that people are going to receive like a physical thing in the mail, like real grassroots, like old school marketing. And so with that, this could actually bring old school retail attention into Pulse Chain. And so what could that do with things like PDAI or Hex or Pulse Chain as a whole? Well, I mean, you know, you could be in this ecosystem right now, front running that whole setup that I just gave you. That's all. And so you could do, and so I'm doing this myself with Pulse Chain. and a few other things. Like I'm front running with memes on ETH, with Ticker Bitcoin and Pepe, some of the small low cap gaming tokens like me. I feel like that's me and Naka front running some of these runs that I think are going to come with the inevitable ETH all-time high. And so, yeah, you could pick whichever one is you're feeling like you're front running, because that's essentially that's the goal. Is like we want to be in the ecosystems way before everyone, where everyone's looking over here, and we're like, okay, we should probably pay attention to this and maybe get a little skin in the game to then, see what we can do, see if we can make some money, right? Okay, so let's stay on track here. I really wanted to kind of, highlight a little bit of that pulse chain stuff. Let's keep a little bit of the focus on Ethereum now. So Ethereum, we wanted to give credit where credit's due. Ethereum, 10 years old. So happy birthday, Ethereum. So Ethereum was launched on July 30th, 2015. Ethereum has transformed blockchain technology with its smart contract functionality. That was the whole thing about Ethereum, was that it could be a blockchain that also can hold assets and create contracts on top of it to be able to then have a signing settlement mechanism and be able to then actually build stuff on top of it with decentralized finance, NFTs, dApps, applications, decentralized applications, all that stuff. And so I wanted to ask Grok and say, hey, what was Ethereum's major milestones over the past 10 years? And so yeah, let's see what Grok pulled as Ethereum's major milestones. We're gonna go through these together. So in 2013, that was the vision began with Vitalik Buterin. Publishes the Ethereum white paper proposing a blockchain with Turing complete smart contracts to go beyond Bitcoin's functionality. And the 2014 crowdfunding success, Ethereum's ICO raises funds by selling over 60 million Ether at a price of 31 cents per ETH. Imagine getting ETH at 31 cents, man. Oh my gosh. So the Genesis block, Ethereum's mainnet launches, introducing smart contracts, enabling programmable blockchain applications. But you guys have got to remember that this is proof of work. So you could still mine the blocks with Ethereum. And so then there was, in 2016, there was a DAO hack and then a hard fork. So in a $60 million exploit in the DAO leads to a controversial hard fork splitting Ethereum into ETH and Ethereum Classic. So this was sparking debates on decentralization and governance. And so in 2017, we had the ICO boom, and then we had CryptoPunks. Ethereum fuels the ICO craze, raising billions for projects, and CryptoPunks launches as one of the first NFT projects, setting the stage for digital collectibles. And then 2020, DeFi explosion. So then we had the DeFi protocols like Uniswap, see total value. Then we had like Sushi Swap. We had all these different swap with like 1 inch. Value locked soar from $602 million to over $15 billion in TVL for Ethereum leading up to 2020. So establishing Ethereum as the hub for decentralized finance. And then in 2021, we had the EIP 1559 introducing a token burning mechanism that was going to make ETH deflationary and reduce gas fees and making Ethereum's economics more predictable, which means that every time there was a transaction made on Ethereum, ETH was burned. So that was a big milestone. And then Ethereum's transition, this was a big one in 2022. There was a merge, and the foundation agreed on making Ethereum go from proof of work to a proof of stake chain, cutting the energy consumption by 99.95% and strengthening network security. So what that meant is that now Whereas you needed the computers, you needed the infrastructure, you needed all this stuff, you needed the real estate, all this stuff that requires physical, actual energy, like Bitcoin does, to be able to mine the blocks and solve the transaction block, to continue the transactions going through, like on the ledger. They're doing it by validators being stakes and nodes in the market instead, which means that instead of having to validate the transactions through proof of work, they're validating it through the nodes and through the staking. So this was a big milestone. So then we had we were all remember this in 2022 and 2023. We had the big NFT gaming growth, with projects like Axie Infinity and the Sandbox thriving on Ethereum, showcasing its role in Web3 gaming and digital ownership. And then, but all through this though too, I think this really set the stage for layer 2s, because then obviously Ethereum, with its kind of scaling issues in terms of being a blockchain used for like immediate gaming transactions, then that's where things come in with the layer 2s and the scaling options using Ethereum as an EVM. And so this started to gain some traction. So 2024, 2025, institutional adoption got the Spot ETF, Spot ETF's launch, and BlackRock's Build Fund on Ethereum signals mainstream financial acceptance. And so you got to remember that the institutions have always and have from the beginning have picked ETH as the kind of de facto smart contract platform, because of the nature of how long it's been around and the work that Vitalik and the developers are doing. And so now, July 30th, 10th anniversary celebration, global events, a live stream is happening. That's what I wanted to mention too. A live stream from the Ethereum Foundation featuring Vitalik today at 2:30. And the Ethereum Torch NFT mark a decade of innovation with community meetups in cities like Shenzhen and New York. So yeah, pretty awesome. Bonus moments: the merge of success. We got the DeFi's meteoric rise. We got the NFT culture boom, global community engagement, institutional embrace, the Web3 gaming innovations, 100% uptime. Ethereum's decade of uninterrupted operations with no downtime stands out against centralized systems like AWS or Facebook, showcasing blockchain reliability. So this is why Ethereum still is the top dog, and you don't want to get gaslit into these people on the timeline. They don't know what the heck they're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about either, but maybe actually, you know what? Maybe I do. Maybe I do know what I'm talking about. Maybe I do, because then sometimes it could be just as simple as like, look, it's the reliability that the big money always is going to let it play out, let it do its thing. Now let's jump on, and we have enough data to be able to go, because they're not just going to be. They like to take risks, but they're not going to be that risky. It's like they're not stupid. There's a reason why they have millions of dollars to begin with, is because they are calculated in their decisions of where they're going to put this money. They want it to grow. They want it to grow and get a return on their investment. And they don't do it in the crypto goldfish bowl mind of 3 weeks or 3 months, or the trenches, or the Solana runner trenches. They're not thinking like that, guys. You got to think 5 years, 10 years down the line. That's how these businesses and institutions think. And hedge funds and all this stuff. They think 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. Not 3 months, not 6 months. It's not like that. We just got caught up in the short-term price action because of crypto Twitter. But you got to look at the long game, the macro, the Raoul Pal type analysis, where it's called boring accumulation and hold and let the thing play out. Because the moment that you start to get too much in the price in the short term here, you're going to make a stupid move and get pulled all directions, when you should know that the plan is steady, long accumulation, just like the Bitcoin whales did back in the day. And some of them knew. Some of them were so delusional and keyed in to the point where now they're billionaires. They're Bitcoin billionaires. And you see all these transactions and these Bitcoin whales moving all their stuff around, and we're all freaking out. And I was just like, no. They knew. Now they're ready for the next level of the game. And what's that? It's called institutional yield, baby. It's called institutional on-chain yield. And they are salivating for it, my friends. They are. Ooh, they're salivating. All right, Suggy, out for work. All right, have a good day, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. It's a new subscriber that came in recently over the week, so really appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate all the new people that have come in, and I think YouTube could still do a better job at putting my live stream out. There's really no reason why we're not, getting pushed in front of thousands of people. There's no reason. There's really no reason besides YouTube just like having a malfunction. But also, you guys have to hit the like button. So however many people have popped up in here today, if you don't hit the like button, then YouTube really won't push it out. So we have to battle the algorithm. We have to do our due diligence, and that's how we do it. And thanks for all the people that are watching on X. We really appreciate it. The algorithm is pumping on here. Let's go with the help of the Sprotos. I love it because every time I go live, they immediately are always posting memes, reposting. Want to give a major shout out to the Ticker Bitcoin community, and also for the Ticker launching on Ethereum, because this is just one of my favorite Ethereum meme coin charts. I really like a chart like this. You start to respect a chart like this because some charts are not created equal, and some will not give you an opportunity to get in and sell and make some money, because it's like, here's the thing, like a coin isn't meant to just like run up all the way, then give you an opportunity here one time, and then that's it. And then who freaking knows if you're ever going to get a chance again. This is why I've had my depressing moments with the ticker, and also exciting moments where you start to learn about legacy memes, you start to learn about how the culture is moving, and you start to see it in real time. Also, with the connection with how Ethereum was even just pushing a little bit of heat, and we've had coins like Ticker Bitcoin or things like let's go to the other list here, like Pepe. You see the momentum on Pepe, and it's just we've gotten a few opportunities. Let's just say, even with that SPX 6900, like we were in March 2025. Like look, everything got cooked. Everything got cooked from the Trump dump. We had a Trump pump and dump, and pretty much everything went into the ground. Everything went into the ground. Some of them have been able to really recover up to just an astronomical amount. And I look at things like SPX 6900 and I think to myself, okay, how often do I, besides Morad and maybe a couple other like SPX, eons and things like that, like I honestly see that maybe it's because I'm just like tuned into my algorithm, but just if I just go and I just kind of see what I'm seeing without being in a bubble, I see a lot more ticker community holders and people creating stuff for the ticker. There's no like big K-Wells or anything like that. Because I would consider obviously Morad as a KOL So he is basically the KOL that is championing for SPX 6900. And this thing is now, hit. I mean, basically it hit $2 billion. $2 billion market cap. Could you say this is overvalued against ticker Bitcoin? 100%. There's no reason why the ticker is not at $1 billion. Now, Morad himself said if it's not a slow cook, it's a scam. I think ticker Bitcoin might be the biggest slow cook in the history of meme coins. Because you probably don't want ticker Bitcoin to run up all the way to where SPX 6900 is right now, because what would happen? You'd have a probably big dump. But do you slow cook it? It's possible. But yeah, I think it's very massively undervalued compared to some of these other, legacy meme coins on ETH. You go to liquidity, you go to MOG. Even MOG got to 1.5. Let's see, how old is MOG? 2 years, 10 days, and then compared to ticker, 2 years, 2 months. Okay, so it's like, man, it's very fascinating. So yeah, and this is not because I hold a bag of ticker Bitcoin and I'm like, I think it's undervalued, so please buy up my bags. It's not really like that. It's just an obvious undervalued meme coin compared to these other ones. I would say that if I didn't hold the ticker. I've actually even had this thought whenever I've had no ticker Bitcoin, and I was like, why? This probably actually should be. This probably, okay. How is this not doing good? Because the nature of how funny it is and just the narrative, but. Okay. I want to get into where the ETH price is right now according to the ETH BTC chart. ETH BTC ratio is signaling that this was the bottom in April. A V-shaped recovery going to the Fibonacci extension of 0.04 is going to ignite the altcoins. We'll call it an altcoin season, but until we get up here, I don't think we're going to be like in the season. We're going to be we're going to be like in maybe like altcoin months. I don't know if it'll be a season. We'll see. But the season is going to be past the 786 where we start getting up into like, 20, like this ratio up here. Like right up here, like we start getting into these territories. This is where the alts are really going to be flying. Like it's going to this is the signal. Because every time we've been in these areas and you look, for instance, ETH BTC around this exact area that I'm calling of 0.05. Okay, and that was June 2022. If we go to the dominance and total market caps and we go to the total 3, and we go to June, I bet the freaking alts were at least some. I don't know. We got to see if it. I have to see. It had to been up a lot. Okay, actually, it was so it was pre that we had that level. So yeah, let's go to June, May, June. That was actually when we started to bottom out. Interesting. So the ETH BTC ratio, because I would expect this, because I'll be honest, I was like, hey, I would expect it would have been right here, but actually the alts, it was like we had that, maybe because of the nature of where we were right here, because this is the total 3, this is excluding Bitcoin and ETH. And then when we were in that point of the ETH BTC ratio starting to, let's see, right here. Yeah, it actually started to switch here. So it actually started to go down, and then it went up a little bit, but then it started to really scale down. And then let's go back to that chart. Let's go back to the total 3. And that was where, yeah. And then you can see basically all alts did this like inverse head and shoulders. And now what's really interesting is we're starting to test back up into the levels where we were in November 2021, last bull market. That's really interesting. So like last bull market of altcoin season and DeFi summer, we were coming out of DeFi summer, we're in that same area of value. And so we've looked at this chart and we said, actually, we should be soon here breaking out 1.3 trillion for the total 3, which is excluding Bitcoin and ETH. You can see this descending wedge too. Like, look, this descending wedge. It's just breaking out. It's just consolidating. It's not going to be it's not going to be like one giant candle like this going up. It's getting some chop, it's getting some chop. Like, it'll get there. But I think where it leads us getting to 1.3 or over 2, I think 2 trillion. Like, I think the true target, if you're really looking at the true target here of what it could be, if you want to do the measure, because I think this is why we have that top one marked, is like out of here, this is where we could actually be headed, is that 2.3 trill in terms of the depth of the cup or the percentage, whatever it is, depth of the cup, I think, was right here. But this is such an interesting structure because you could also go from like this distance from these resistance points right here, and go down and say this should be like the kind of total break. I think this is where we got that, or where we got this, like where we're like, if it breaks out, it should break out around here. Something like that. I mean, and that would look good for alts. That would be good for the altcoin market, showing strength. And then combine this with the total cryptocurrency market cap. This is what's crazy, is I love comparing. If you look at this chart, it looks just like gold on the macro chart of gold. So if we do, like, I'd like to, or maybe we can do this. Let's dual this, and then you guys can do this too. And you take this right here, and we're gonna go gold, and we're just gonna look at gold, and we're gonna put gold on the weekly, and you're gonna notice that the chart. Oh, no, I can't do it like that because I want you to see what I had. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to copy this. Let's duplicate this. Yeah, I'll probably have to, I'd have to use the others, I guess, others BTC or whatever. I don't know. I've just been using total 3. It's almost the same. It's pretty close. It's kind of I mean, what is it missing? What is it missing? Like a couple million or something? I don't know. It's pretty similar. It's not going to be that far off. Okay. All right. So let's look at the gold. Let's look at gold. Now I want you to look at gold and look at this chart. Look how it looks very, very similar. It's very similar. Okay. Look at that. It's not exact. It's not like perfect, but I mean, look. Weekly total cryptocurrency market cap. This is the total one, not the total 3. This is total cryptocurrency market cap, 3.8 trillion right now. And then look at gold. Now, was gold the leading indicator for crypto? Yeah. I think that was like gold was the leading indicator for strength of the dollar and just to not be in the dollar. But then also if you were in gold and Bitcoin and crypto, you were kind of just in the best places that you could be over the past 10 years. You know, over the past 10 years, you look at crypto. Definitely was the place to be. Definitely was the place to be since 2017. And then you look at gold since 2008. Since 2008, that was the if you were in gold, you know, that was also it too. I mean, Peter Schiff, you know, was you know, he's not stupid. I mean, he is smart, but also, and I think he's a grifter. I think he's probably more bullish Bitcoin than he leads on to be, because it's just part of his shtick. You know, he has to be. He's the gold guy. But the thing is I think our nature of rallies right now are going to be probably different. The nerd Robert. I almost want to call you the nerd robot. I'm just going to call you the nerd robot because that's what I want to say. The nerd robot, but it's Robert. The nerd robot says problem is we can't wait another few years to see the rally. Most people will give up. That is true. I mean, you got to think a lot of people gave up this cycle. You know, a lot of people gave up after 2023. Like after the whole collapse of all the exchanges and FTX and the capitulations, people gave up. Like they gave up. If you go to Google Trends right now and you look at kind of just like, you know, did we save one of those Google Trends? Oh, we did. Where we had Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and Pepe all metriced. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, here we go. This is cool. I like doing this. Worldwide over the past 5 years, Bitcoin's interest, Dogecoin, and Pepe. I like using these as the metric because Dogecoin was the metric of retail interest. And then Bitcoin, that's still a retail metric interest because like that's kind of like, okay, if retail is going to really like, they're going to type Bitcoin or crypto or whatever it may be, search terms for crypto is usually, no one's typing cryptocurrency. They just type crypto, Bitcoin, and they type in meme coins. And that's what they type in when retail starts to get interested again. And this is worldwide. So worldwide, past 5 years, as you can see, we have not had any near of the spike of interest for retail since after 2021. The only spikes we've seen was the Trump pump, and it still wasn't enough of the euphoria. That's even with the president of the United States saying, buy crypto, be bullish, this is a good time to buy, blah, 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 blah. You know, all this stuff, all the sentiment we could ever want that we never had this whole time right here was right here. And we still didn't get retail to come back in. But who was all in buying the bags this entire time right here? It was the institutions. It was these guys. BlackRock, Fidelity, Bitwise, 21 Shares, VanEck, Invesco. And then when it comes to all of the companies that are involved with accumulating Bitcoin, are these companies. If I can find it, where'd they go? You got Circle. You got Jack Mallers. Oh, here they are. Crypto-focused stocks to watch. You got BitDeer Technologies. You got Galaxy Digital. You got Robinhood. You got Hood. You got Marathon Digital. The largest BTC miner and corporate BTC holder. You got Riot. Remember Riot platforms? They're all accumulating Bitcoin, mining Bitcoin. The Trump family has a company that is going to be mining Bitcoin. So this is this is what's happening right now, guys. So we just have to play the long game. We just have to just be in crypto. We just got to have skin in the game, you know. Whilst retail's not paying attention, we are here at the right time. But I want to be responsible and say that you're not guaranteed anything with investing. By the way, we know that obviously it's time in the market beats trying to trade it or, you know, doing all that stuff, trying to do too much. If you just compound it, simple things. But the nature of this market, I get it. There's so many things that you could end up putting your money into and they could go to zero. And I want you to understand this and know that it's not a guarantee, that it is all a risk, but the only way that you can get ahead is to take the risks. That's what the catch-22 is. It's like you have to take the risk, but you have to know what the risk to reward ratio is. Okay, risk is that, you know, okay, I might lose my money. Okay. Well, if you don't invest it, you're still losing it. Did you know that? So like if you're not investing your money, you're still going to lose it by inflation. So yes, Harry Conroy, you are not guaranteed to get rich. But I feel like you know this. But I think I don't like how some of these influencers or people that talk about finances and all this blah blah blah, they're like, here's my top 5 altcoin picks. And it's like, who cares? That's not guaranteed. I don't give a crap what your top 5 altcoin picks are. You still could lose all your money. This is what people need to be smarter about as a person, an influencer making content, and tell people, hey guys, you're not guaranteed nothing, but you have to do your best, and you have to know that you might lose some money. You're not guaranteed that you're gonna get massively rich. Okay, so just have that in the back of your head, so then your expectations are not like unrealistic. You know the risks, you know the reward. I'm not going to give you false hope and promises and all this stuff. Like, for instance, that's like if I was telling you, okay, I'm bullish ticker Bitcoin. Well, guess what? Multiple times to buy it low and sell high. Now, I could have been this person to say right here at $253 million, you need to buy this. You need to blah, 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 blah. And then if I told you that and you bought it right here, and guess what? And then it goes right there. You're going to say, I can't believe you. You gave me a false promise. Blah, blah, blah. But if I told you, hey, this meme is hilarious at 250 million, I don't know what it's going to do. It probably could go to zero. I have no idea. I don't know. But it's hilarious. It's a risk. It's a risk you're willing to take. Okay, you full ported the top here, and then what are you going to do? Are you going to blame me? Are you going to blame the entire crypto community because you bought it right here? No. That's the name of the freaking game. That's the name of the game. So that's why I like to be responsible. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to tell you, hey, buy ticker Bitcoin because you're going to become a millionaire. because hey, you might decide to buy it, but guess what? Then you bought the top. and then you're down 60%, just if it for some reason maybe it went down 50%, and then you quit and sold it and never come back again. That could happen to you. That actually happens to a lot of people. Harry Conroy said, I need to find someone who does know them, bro. No, that's the thing. Don't go to people that they're saying, oh, you're guaranteed this. They don't know. And if they're real, they would tell you. Like most of the real influencers, it's just like Benjamin Cohen. He's like, this is dubious speculation. He's like, this could happen. I could totally be wrong. Like, for instance, his thesis on alts, he's like, I could potentially be wrong. So that's being responsible. That's not giving people false hope, which is what is a lot of these influencers do. And I think it's irresponsible because you just got to be honest with people. Be honest. All of this is opinions. These are just my opinions, my thesis on how I'm operating in this market. And it's for entertainment purposes only and educational purposes only. So then you can take it and say, okay, maybe that might help me with my edge. But you'll remember that I didn't tell you to buy anything. I'm telling you to make your own decision. You are ultimately the one who clicks the buy button and clicks the sell button. I don't make you do anything. So just as a reminder, guess who has the alpha? It's you. You have the alpha. Why is everyone trying to search and be like, oh, well, this person's got the alpha? Did you ever think that maybe you are the one that has the alpha? No, that's not possible. I have to get it from somewhere else. No, I've always known that I've had the damn alpha. I don't need it from anyone else. I create my own freaking alpha, my friends. And that's how I like to operate. You're my alpha. You guys are the alpha. How about that? Everyone's watching this channel right now. You are the alpha. You're my next 100x. You're my next 100x. The community. You're the 100x. You're here. All right. Stay Calm has been waiting patiently. He's like, please talk about Brett. All right. So Brett recently got listed on Binance.us. I saw that. That was news. We got Brett, and we're still bullish Brett. And I'll tell you, look, see, I like to be honest. I'm not holding a single Brett. I sold it too early. I sold it in all the chaos. But guess what? I could probably buy some back and still make a pretty decent return. But that's my opinion. But I'm transparent enough to tell you, hey, I love Brett. I totally missed Brett, faded it, sold it way too early, and still think it has a pretty good chance. Where is the Binance? Binance.us. Yeah, they listed Brett. Or did they always have? I feel like I was confused because I thought they had already listed Brett. But maybe it was deposits. Okay. Deposits for Brett are now open on Binance.us. Trading on the Brett USDT pair will begin on July 31st. Oh, okay. So I guess they didn't have that pair. Yeah, I was like, okay. But yeah, the Brett chart is another chart where I'm like, hey, it's a bullish chart. We've charted Brett for a long time, and we've said that, it does have some strength. It does have some strength. It went into the ground like a lot of the alts did, and you can kind of see that is this particular kind of trend that can happen here, where if you believe that it can continue on a upwards trend to break all-time highs, then you would see this as a structure like this. You'd say, okay, the amount of time that it would take for it to get there, we've already passed that momentum wave. If you look at it like this. So touch that, then you would think, okay, were we able to, like, could we swoop back up? It didn't do that. It got, you know, hit like a lot of everything. You know, we kind of sentiments like, okay, are we like going to have like an ETH all-time high? What's going to happen here? At what point are we going to trade back up into getting into the billions to possibly hit some resistance and chop and then break up into new all-time high structure? I don't know. I mean, it's just, you don't know. You just have to take the risk. That's what it's all about, guys. It's like, it's a risk to reward. You know, there's going to be things that are going to not do very well. There's going to be things that, like, for instance, this could do this. It also could be underwhelming and maybe hit resistance and just, I don't know, chop around. But that's why DCAing is actually really, really great. It's like such a cool strategy because you're just kind of like, you're eliminating the guesswork. You're not like, I'm going to put 10,000 in right here. You're just like, no, I'm going to put $50, $100, $25, $10, whatever. And then before you know it, you DCA this entire range. And then if it does get to this point right here, so say you got an average price of, you know, a market cap of where you just kind of DCA'd into an average price of 551 million for Brett. And so you just do that middle ground, bring it up to that range to where it could hit resistance. You know, you see that obvious resistance right here at that level. That's still a 252% move to the upside. And if you'd been able to DCA $1,000 into there, that's solid. That's a good return. And the crypto Twitter timeline will make you feel like that's like nothing. I'm like, stop. It's like, stop it. Stop it. Stop. That's not bad. What are you talking about? 300%? That's good. Give me returns. Headband. What's going on, Headband? Shout out to Headband. I've given you so many shout outs the past couple live streams when I was talking about NFTs, because like I feel like I don't know enough about NFTs. So I'm like, go to Headband. He knows more. He's in the trench for NFTs. So we'll give you a shout out. We're gonna give you a full shout out. I've done this before, but yeah, shout out to Headband, who has been super, super consistent, always supportive, and also will call me out if I'm being stupid, and will tip me off on any kind of thing he thinks is actually really worth looking at. And some of the stuff that he has called in the past has done very well. So I want to give him credit. I will give him credit. And guys, follow him if you want to kind of get into the low cap trench NFT stuff. He's the dude. He's the dude. So follow him. I will link his X account right here. Get him monetized. Like get him monetized. He could start getting paid by Twitter. It's my goal. I want everyone to eat. I want everyone to eat. I make sure no side eat. I want to make sure everyone eats. Okay? I want everyone to eat. People really liked my my wife loves wearing the ticker socks, and it just like it makes it really hard for me to retain. So I posted this in the Telegram, and there were people. They were like, this is too much. It's too sexy." I said, "I know." Right? It's banned. Might be banned. Okay, let's go. We got ETH up $3,812. We scaled up into the trade. Our profits are 420. Our profits for ETH are $420. Happy 420. Our profits for a Bitcoin here on this trade, 155. We're just sliding around on these two trades here. So if you're looking at ETH on the daily here, and you're looking at some Fibonacci extension levels that you're thinking, okay, what's the Fibonacci extension level that we hit just recently here? It's weird. I don't know why these are faded out like that. The 3800, the 3862. What's the next Fibonacci extension level that matches up? Someone told me the Bollinger Bands don't work. What are you using the Bollinger Bands for? I don't know. It's probably just, one of the indicators. That's the default indicator for every freaking exchange that you ever used, or any chart. Why is it a selection as one of the basic indicators? Because it's the one that gives you the easiest data of previous price action from resistance and support with the moving average. Get off my timeline talking about the Bollinger Bands don't work. A lot of times they do. So, and the Fibonacci extension usually lines up right on it. So you guys want to know what the range is for ETH right now? It's between 3,500 and 4,100. There's your range. And now it's established between these two Fibonacci levels, which was that 1,618 and the 2.618. So if you're looking for a price target for Ethereum, it's $4,164. The last time I called price on ETH, it hit exactly. So you should pay attention. Now, let me give you the bearish case scenario, because I don't want to be like, oh, this is exactly what's going to happen, because like I said, I don't know, but I have a high probability. Okay? If we can't break the resistance from the 1,618, then you want to look at the moving average. You look at the moving average, and you see where we've had previous support, and a lot of that is from where a lot of traders got their entry for ETH recently, was at this $3,500 level. So if we want to give the bearish case scenario that we could potentially hit resistance, trade down into the 786, and then hit this level, that could be your bearish case scenario into a bull case. This could also be invalidated if we are able to break that initial resistance and then continue to the upside with this looking at the 4-hour as just a bit of a cool off. And sometimes I've seen this pattern happen before where we do this, boom, we kind of swoop, test, back test, then we hit the next level. That's what I'm looking at for ETH right now. All right, so go give a shout out to Wrecked Capital. It's another it's a Twitter profile that I like to watch. It's got some good TA. He thinks there's some diminishing returns across the price discovery uptrends, but we do have a weekly bull flag and possible post-breakout retest on Bitcoin. You can see that established range. Weekly CME gap was filled, relatively filled. And this is that same area. This is that Bitcoin roadmap with this uptrend. You see how it's basically, we were talking about it for weeks, saying how Bitcoin is basically going to staircase, where it goes up, flats a little bit, So you see it right here. You see it goes up, staircase, goes up, another step, goes up, creates another step, goes up, creates another step, and now look, it's going to go up. And what's that next level? It hits right on the Fibonacci extension of 150. And so that creates the next range of consolidation where we hit up, go 150, and then we could consolidate back from 150, going down from 150 back to 120, 130 or whatever. And that would line up really good with our particular TA that we've done on Bitcoin. And that would really line up great with this particular chart for Bitcoin. This is where we want to go to. We actually want to go to the 4 hour, or was it the daily that had a little bit more of the tight data here? Yeah. This 150. That's that sweet price target from the depth of the cup and handle breakout. It hasn't finished it yet because we did Wyckoff distribution right here in this range. So when you look at this, you look at this structure, depth right here. Consolidation from there. So we just want to do, like, say we have, woo, right there. The depth, 222%. 215, even going to 215%, that brings us to 155 from the bottom. So we're almost there. We're very, very close. We're very, very close. Very, very close. We have a little bit more to go, but like I said before, we have 70 days. Before it was like 80 days because that was like a week ago or however many days ago when I was saying that I made the live stream and that call, was that according to the days of where we've had the 4-year cycle, Bitcoin halving, all that stuff, and we've had the runs, like the quickest, whatever the banana zone is, it's 530 days average after the halving. So it's like a year and a half pretty much after the fact of the halving that we get the peak price of the particular run, which would lead us into this price target that we were calling at 150,000, between $150,000 and $166,000 per Bitcoin. This is in October. So if this lines up, that means we would have a peak price for this particular cycle of that 4-year halving cycle leading up to October this year, hitting 150,000. So that's my price target for the next 3 months. I'm sticking to it, and I think if we just do steady accumulation, try not to trade too much, do less, and just have more money in the market, we're going to do really well. We're going to do really well. I think so. Now, my friends, I think we have talked about enough today, unless you guys want me to pull up another chart, whatever. Let's do it. We can do it. Or if you have any questions, we have 105 people watching on X. I really appreciate it. And we have also We had someone. I thought I saw a comment from someone watching on Rumble. We have someone watching on Rumble. Let's go. We have someone watching on Twitch as well. So we're streaming across all platforms. I want to give a shout out to the partners of the channel, OURBIT and PHEMEX. Give a major shout out to them. Thank you for being very supportive, and just want to direct your attention towards the links in the description. It's the best way you can directly support the live stream by just checking out these links. And then also, if you don't have a VPN or anything like that, you can check out this link. And then if you want some big centralized exchanges like crypto.com or Coinbase, I have some links for that as well. Get some free BTC and also test out some debit cards. Well, all right. Yeah, the main thing today is that it's 10 year anniversary for Ethereum. We got Ethereum's live stream that's going to be coming up. We have the FOMC meeting that's coming up today. That's happening in 1 hour. So let's see what's happening. Like, I mean, obviously we're getting some traction here. We're getting some momentum. Let's see how the tone of Jerome Powell is going to be, because the markets always also react on not just what the data is or what they're predicting or what their moves are going to be, but what the actual tone is. If he's hawkish or dovish, if he's showing any resilience to the pressure of Trump or showing weakness, well, that's how the markets are going to react. And maybe we're trying to front run there being rates. I mean, I think that's what we're all trying to do here is like, look, we don't want to be caught off guard or sidelined. And that's the whole point is we have to have that risk. We have to know that there is risk in accumulating this stuff, but the reward is that we could potentially have massive gains towards, I mean, more so towards quarter one and quarter two of next year, because I think that's where things are going to get really, really interesting. It's going to get really interesting. Because that's when we're going to all know if we sold too early. That's when we're going to know. This is where I think quarter one and quarter two of next year is when we're going to really find out if you sold too early. Because the nature of this market is different now. Like, we're in a different market structure. So, and this has happened to people in the previous cycles too, where they sold too early. And a lot of it was Bitcoin people. It was the Bitcoin people that were Bitcoin, like heavy, hardcore Bitcoin people, and they ended up selling too early. And you go back to their Twitter posts from like 2013, they were like, I don't know if Bitcoin's going to blah, blah, blah. And it was at like $1,000. Fast forward 7 years later, and they can't breathe. they're having a hard time. So I just want to hopefully here's the thing. Like, you have to pay yourself, like you don't have to feel bad for selling, but it's going to be tough. Like, you're not going to time it perfectly. You're not going to time the top or the bottom perfectly. You're not going to do everything perfect. You can at least just get close to saying, okay, like, I have a plan. I have a DCA strategy. I have somewhat of a, time or trajectory or indicators that could help me to sell, because that's going to be the hardest thing for you. It's easy to buy. It's harder to sell. I feel like it's like with certain things, it's like, it could be actually harder to sell, because when you start to get into that point of euphoria and you let the euphoria and the FOMO like take over, I don't know if you're going to be able to make calculated decisions as best as what you think you can. So if you can dial in what your plan actually is to sell, then you might be more prepared and you won't get caught off guard all of a sudden when your portfolio starts to freaking fly and you're like, what do I do? Do I just stare at it? Or do you fumble massive gains Or what's your plan? Like, are you going to DCA out a little bit? Are you going to say, all right, let me like take a little bit, put it into some stables, have it earn some yield. Maybe I'll take profits and then put it into dividend yielding index funds. Just be super easy, boring. Be like, okay, I'm going to like make sure I hedge into making sure I'm continuing to compound this stuff. If you don't know what you're going to do when it comes to that time, you need to do this today. Literally today. Look at me. Today. If you don't know what your plan is to sell, figure it out. Today. Okay? That is what you need to do today. Because if you haven't figured out what you need to buy by now, I don't know what you're doing. So like, figure out what you like. Narrow it down to 10 coins. Maybe even less. Figure out if you have been accumulating enough. Do you feel good about it? If you don't, cool. Get more. Buy more. I don't care what it is. Figure out your 10 coins. Accumulate. And then figure out what you're going to do. When you hit a certain point, what are you going to do? What's your plan? And if you do this today, you realize you'll be ahead of 90% of the people in crypto. You'll be ahead of 90% and possibly even now it's even as bold as 95% of people in crypto. A lot of the decisions that are made are based off FOMO, fear, uncertainty, doubt, and the inability to have a freaking plan at all. And that's how people round trip millions of dollars and come out of a cycle with nothing. Let's not do that. Not this time. We have to focus. It's time to lock in. I wish more people would be here to listen to what I'm talking about, but I'm glad you guys are, because this is the info and the information. When you call it talking about the alpha, like Harry Conroy saying, "Oh, I need to find someone who does." Everything that I've talked about today is probably the most valuable information that I can give you, and it has nothing to do with the next 100x. There's plenty of opportunities in crypto. But it's just like, do you even have a plan to take advantage of it? The way I'm doing it, I'm a content creator. I'm a influencer. I educate people. I feel like I have an edge on being very good at talking about this stuff and educating people and leading people in the right direction without hurting them and being honest. And then I'm in this, while I'm doing this, I get to learn and figure out where I want to narrow my plan down and execute it. And that's how I'm going through this market. If you guys aren't following me on TikTok, at Dano Crypto 904, check it out. We're past 50 followers. We're getting up there. We're hitting the algorithm. We just recently posted some shorts with Julie. A little bit of money in Shout out to Julie.
And watch Dogecoin. Really.
We had Julie Kennis on the show yesterday. Let me know if you guys enjoyed that. If you want me to do more of those, if you want me to get more people on the live stream so they can try and see if they can navigate my ADHD. It's a task. I'll let you guys know I did buy a Lambo. Win Lambo. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, let me know now, because I'm about to end this thing. Questions, Q&A. What you got for me? People on X, let me know. Let me know what's good. Hopefully you're not all bots. While I wait for your questions, let's pull up. Let's see what's down and what's up, what's down. All right, we got Brett up. 3.7% right now. Weekly chart looking good. We got the Me token taking a bit of a breather on the weekly, because on the week it went up 295%. Woo! Holy moly. So it hit that resistance up there. You could see that with the original descending wedge that was right here that pushed it up here, got that up to test this area. Now, if you look at this on the daily, you'd see that this, before when we've seen it do this and it flags out, it can do some damage. Like, look, here's the flag. And a lot of the times when it does this, it gives an opportunity for you to get that nice entry back up and to push into that all-time high. And this is what we're looking at for the Me token. Woo. So yeah, the crypto gaming tokens, I think, is going to have a separate bull run coming up. Litecoin's up about 0.5%, nothing too crazy. Still in that purple range. Just went into that purple range. And we said that once Litecoin gets to 275 or around this area, that's when we would be actually in some really crazy altcoin territories, because Litecoin in both of the previous altcoin seasons and bull runs of the banana zone went into this range. So this is why we still have been thinking, like, I think it's just still too early to be thinking about taking profits. You know? Like, in terms of the overall market, we've still had this thesis too, where Litecoin could be the metric of like, okay, once we're here, like, I would start thinking about DCAing and, like, you know, taking profits. I even still have it marked right here. Take profits, DCA out when Litecoin is in the 200s. Because there's a big chance that if Litecoin's here, the rest of all these alts and ETH and everything else that has to do with the cryptocurrency markets is probably going to be up a lot. A lot. So that's my metric. I don't know if it could get there. Let's see. We'll see. But it did it in the last two runs. And it's like accumulate in purple, sell in the range. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Oh man, we got some really cool things, like really exciting things that we want to tell you guys about, but we can't say anything just yet. Got some cool stuff that we want to talk about. All right. I think my fam is ready for me to zip. My daughter's looking at me like, can you please stop talking about crypto? She's pretty cute though. I think I can. She's the only one I'll stop yapping my trap. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you on the next live stream. Shout out to all the OGs, crypto enthusiasts. Again, just things to keep a lookout for. In an hour, we got the FOMC meeting, the paper shuffler. Shuffle the papers. Who cares? We know that crypto is going to just be on the radar for years and years and years to come. So we just need to have skin in the game. And it's like Alex Becker said, he's like, rate cuts, no rate cuts, who cares? Just have exposure and know that the rich invest, and hopefully you can be in the right place at the right time. Because we don't want to be, we don't, like I said, we don't want to give you false hope. We don't want to give you false hope. We don't want to think that that just because you're investing means you're gonna make it. But you have to take the risk. Are you willing to take the risk? Or do you want to put all your money in a savings account? I don't know. You be the judge. You be the judge. Watch out for the FOMC in 1 hour. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with Bitcoin. See what happens with crypto. And yeah, we'll see you on the next live stream. Peace out, everyone. Hey everyone, I just show you a really quick metric that I found fascinating. So 41% of the people that have been watching this channel and actually liking the channel and the content have not subscribed. 41% of you, but I will say 58% of you subscribed. Amazing. You guys are doing awesome. But I want to say that the people that are not subscribed yet, please, won't you consider subscribing to the channel and joining the Dojo crew where we are educating ourselves. We're in the markets every single day. We're live streaming Monday through Friday, and we're also posting content on a daily basis that is keeping up with these cryptocurrency markets. And this is where the money is flowing right now, guys. So if you want to get these updates and you want to be ahead of the game, I suggest you start subscribing and dinging the bell to be notified whenever I go live and post content, because you do not want to miss it.
You're quitting because Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, and you coin. Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money. On Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, and you. 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 Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit
HPOSNI.com.